week I was asked, what are your hobbies? About 30 times, as I'm sure you all were. So it really made me start to think about what I enjoy doing. There was one thing that constantly stuck out to me, my love of traveling. I have hundreds of stories about the places I've been and the things I've experienced. The one particular trip sticks out among the rest. In the past 2 years, I've been to New York, Chicago, Seattle, and Uganda, but not in that order. These trips have inspired me in a variety of different ways and shown me vastly different sides of the country. Now, New York, the lifestyle is a continuous race to be the best, to build the tallest building, and to cross the street before the crosswalk monitor says it's okay to. The city is constantly full of energy, no matter the time of day, and it reminded me of how tiny I actually am. Seattle's on the opposite coast of the US, in a stark contrast to New York. There are trees everywhere, the buildings are more spread out, and it rains a lot more. The flowers that consume the farmers markets are surreal, and the fishmongers are as intense as they seem. Now, Uganda is like no place I've ever been. The poverty on every corner is heartbreaking. The children begging for scraps reminds you of how well off you actually are. They do have crazy traffic like in the US, but there are two main differences. There are no traffic signals. I saw one stop sign the entire time. And they either drive 9-passenger vans with 15 people in them or really fast dirt bikes called bodas. So although unexpected, the trip that shaped my career first was my visit to Chicago. A fairly modernized city, absorbed in the hustle and bustle of their everyday lives, oblivious to the 18-year-old girl who don't live by it all. I visited Chicago the senior year, spring break, and I'm from the tiny town of Marion, Texas, where the tallest thing 4 miles is the grain silo. So I was immediately captivated by the skyscrapers, the metro, and of course, the giant bean. I was sucked into the beauty and tourism, the sights and sounds of the new city, and determined to find something spectacular to focus my AP concentration on. The first night we were there, a band of gunshots rang out. As sirens approached, I was snapped out of that touristic mindset. We were on the safe side of town, and yet people were leaving the area in body bags. The next day, as we went back into the city, my eyes were drawn from the sky. Instead, I was focused on the people littering the sidewalks. The deeper we went into downtown, the more people I noticed, sitting on the ground and not up and about. Each of their cardboard signs telling different stories. Stories that reminded me of how blessed I am. My heart broke for these individuals, overlooked by society and abandoned by all they used to be. Last week, that's the wrong one. As we continued our exploration, we were drawn into the suburbs and found ourselves on the south side. The homes and businesses we drove by perplexed me. So many of them were damaged by fire, snow, or rain, and left unoccupied, but with no sign of a previous owner returning. I decided then I would focus my AP concentration on abandonment. I spent many hours researching homelessness, abandoned buildings, and the foreclosure rate in the US. But what shocked me the most is 0.17% of the US population is considered homeless. That seems like a small number until you realize that it's 565,000 individuals, or 14 times the student population at